Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Ethereum is playing out the break to the downside from this bearish pattern, while a new warning signal is flashing right now on the Bitcoin chart, which I'll talk more about in just a moment, so definitely stick around. First of all, starting off on the daily Bitcoin chart, and right now, obviously, the price of Bitcoin has officially confirmed a break below 22.7k, which was a level holding up as support over the last 1 to 2 weeks. But once again, just over the last 1 day, we've officially now seen a break below that level, meaning the next significant support to the downside for the price of Bitcoin on the daily time frame, based on these previous Fibonacci levels, is sitting at around 21.2 to 21.3k, which is the top side of this previous golden pocket. And so, at least as of right now, that is the next important support, once again, that I'm paying attention to here on the daily Bitcoin chart. But of course, we still have this massive bearish divergence playing out right now, as I have been warning about a lot recently here on the channel, which basically means we should not be expecting really any bullish momentum on the daily time frame for at least around 1 to 2 weeks or so. And instead, we're most likely going to experience either some shorter term bearish price action like what we've seen over the last few days, or a consolidation range for some time. So once again, either a larger pause from this bullish trend or a further setback from what we've already seen based on this bearish divergence playing out right now on the daily Bitcoin chart. And now, in a more bearish scenario, if we do actually see a confirmed break below this golden pocket, which, by the way, the lower side of this golden pocket is sitting at around 20.9k. So once again, if we see a confirmed break below that level, then the next levels of support that I'll be watching on the daily time frame are sitting at around 19.7 to 19.8k. But more importantly, the next significant level of support below the golden pocket is really this previous 38.2% Fibonacci level, which also was acting as a lot of support back here, and that is sitting at approximately 18.6 to 18.7k, which could be a realistic target if we first see a break below around 21k approximately. But once again, at least for now, this golden pocket is the main level of support that I'm paying attention to on the daily time frame. And in terms of the trend right now on the daily Bitcoin chart, technically speaking, if we hold this golden pocket as support and see a bounce back to the upside within the next few weeks or so, then we could very well remain within this bullish trend here on the daily time frame, because technically we're still seeing higher lows and higher highs on the daily Bitcoin chart. But of course, if we start to see breaks below the golden pocket, for example, and come back up and form lower highs and rejections and things like that, then of course those would be signals telling us that we are reversing this bullish trend into a new bearish trend on the daily time frame. Now, if you look at smaller time frames like the 4-hour chart, yes, you could say obviously we're in a short-term downtrend, but here on the daily chart, if you're simply looking at the lows and the highs, obviously we haven't actually broken that higher low, higher high price structure as of right now on the daily Bitcoin chart. So technically, we could still remain in this bullish trend, and this could simply turn out to be a correction if we hold some of these important levels like the golden pockets. And now, staying on the daily Bitcoin chart, but zooming out a little bit and taking a closer look at the daily Bitcoin RSI, because right now this is actually flashing a bearish signal. And now, if you've been watching my videos over the last 1 year or so, then you would already know about this signal here in the RSI, because pretty much every single time this has happened in the daily Bitcoin RSI, I've talked about it just before we've seen a significant drop in the price of Bitcoin. And basically, as you can see here, what this signal is essentially a break below an upwards trending line of support in the daily Bitcoin RSI. Going back to this first example that we saw early 2022, of course, we had a strong upwards trending line of support, which eventually broke early April 2022, just after we saw a decent drop in the price of Bitcoin. But what came next was actually a larger drop in the price of Bitcoin over the next few weeks. And of course, we saw something very similar around early June June 2022. Once again, an uptrend line of support, and then the RSI broke that level. And as soon as we saw that, we saw a larger drop in the price of Bitcoin come next over the next 1 week or so. And so looking at the third example, once again, almost the exact same thing, an uptrend line of support in the daily Bitcoin RSI, and then a break below that uptrend line of support. And right after that happened, over the next 1 to 2 weeks or so, we saw quite a lot of bearish price action in the Bitcoin price. And so looking at the fourth example, once again, almost the exact same thing, an uptrend line of support in the daily Bitcoin RSI, and then a break below that line of support in the RSI. And right after that happened, we saw a significant drop in the price of Bitcoin over the next few days. And once again, right now in the daily Bitcoin RSI, we are currently seeing a break below this uptrend line of support where we have seen a few different bounces from over the last few months. And now, obviously, you could argue that each of these previous significant drops in the price of Bitcoin coincided with a significant bearish event taking place outside of the charts. For example, this first significant drop after this bearish signal actually occurred during the middle of the lunar meltdown. And then looking at the second example, that significant drop was caused by a massive deleveraging in the DeFi space and a lot of lenders being involved in that. And of course, the drop in the price that we saw during November was mostly caused by the FTX situation. So basically, you could argue that this time around, we might not see as significant of a drop in the price of Bitcoin because we might not have that extra bearish event taking place outside of the charts like what we've seen a lot of these previous times. But either way, whether we see a lot more bearish price action or just a small amount of bearish price action, either way, technically speaking, this is a bearish signal to pay attention to here on the daily chart. And of course, when you combine this with the fact that we do have an active bearish divergence playing out on the daily Bitcoin chart, then it's actually quite likely that we're due to see at least a little bit more bearish price action potentially over the next 1 to 2 weeks or so. And just a reminder that in a few days from now, we have new US CPI inflation numbers being released, which will essentially update the official inflation rate in the US. And depending on what those numbers are, they could potentially have a significant impact on the price. And so that could also prove to be another catalyst, either bullish or bearish, depending on the numbers. And as we get closer to that day in a few days from now, of course, I'll further update you about all of that in these videos and in real time over on my Twitter, linked down below in the description and in the pinned comment. But anyway, now taking a look at the 8-hour Bitcoin to US dollar chart, and obviously we have this shorter term bearish divergence still playing out here, putting bearish pressure on the price as I've been talking about ever since up here. And now that we've seen the Bitcoin price break below this support at approximately 22.7k, we've seen a drop all the way down almost to this next area of support in the volume profile indicator, which by the way starts at approximately 21.5k, with the majority of the support sitting closer towards 21,000. So once again, we're most likely going to drop down towards the lower $21,000 area. And essentially, according to the volume profile indicator and this previous golden pocket, that should be the next significant area of support on the chart. And if you're taking a look at the 4-hour Bitcoin to US dollar chart, obviously, once again, we saw a confirmed break below this short-term supports level, which I've got here at around 22.5 to 22.6k. And from the moment the Bitcoin price started breaking below that support level, we've seen a drop almost straight to the downside towards this next level of support, which was previous resistance. And this level of support, by the way, is sitting at around 21.3 to 21.4k. So once again, very close to the top of this price range in the volume profile indicator on the 8-hour time frame. And now getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this right here is the daily ETH to US dollar chart. And obviously over the last 1 to 2 days, we've seen a further rejection from this strong range of resistance in between 1650 to 1.7k. And on top of the price running into that strong resistance, obviously we had this bearish divergence putting extra bearish pressure on the price, which I have been warning about for a while now on this channel. And this has ultimately resulted in a correction beginning in the price of ETH here on the daily time frame. Now, once again, it's possible we could just have a correction, bounce and recover in a few weeks from now and continue on a larger bullish trend. that is a possible scenario. So just because we've seen this rejection and the beginning of a possible correction right now, that doesn't necessarily mean that this larger bullish trend on the daily time frame is over. So just keep that in mind. Yes, we are looking bearish in the more shorter term, but that doesn't necessarily change this larger trend on the daily time frame. And as for support levels on the daily ETH to US dollar chart, right now the price of ETH is actually running into the 23.6% Fibonacci level of support, which is sitting at approximately 1530 to 1540. And now if we end up seeing a confirmed break below around 1530, then the next important level of support based on the Fibonacci retracement tool is sitting at around 1430. Below that, then I'll be watching around 1360 and around 1280, also acting as important support levels here on the daily time frame. And now if you're taking a look at the 8-hour ETH to US dollar chart, obviously over the last one day, the price of ETH has broken to the downside from this bearish rising wedge pattern, which I have been warning about over the last few days, basically saying that this is a bearish pattern because it is more likely to break to the downside than to the upside. And basically now that we've seen a break below that support at around 1620, we now have a technical price target in play based on this bearish pattern, and that price target is towards the bottom of the wedge at around 1.5k. And already the price as of recording this video has gotten very close to that price target at around 1.5k, but technically we still have a little further to go, and obviously this bearish divergence is still playing out here on the 8-hour time frame, putting some bearish pressure on the price in the shorter term here. So when it comes to the shorter term, as I warned about in my last video as well, I'm currently leaning slightly more bearish at the moment in the short term, but like I said, on the daily time frame, that doesn't necessarily confirm a new bearish trend here on the daily time frame, at least not yet. But either way, whether we confirm a new bearish trend with lower highs and lower lows, or whether this is just a correction in the middle of a larger bullish trend, either way you can make money in crypto during bullish and bearish times if you watch these videos popping up right here on your screen, because the video in the top left shows you how to make money if the price is either bullish or bearish, and the video in the bottom left shows you how to make money if the price is just chopping around sideways. But anyway, that's everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.